right into it. So we're going to chat a little about artificial intelligence today. Probably nothing new to the room here. There's a bunch of different types of artificial intelligence, of course, in the marketplace. You get robotics, self-driving cars, factory automation, that kind of thing. You get, analytics systems, used to be called big data, kind of morphed into AI analytics. And of course, you get the customer support side of AI. And in the customer support, we've got voice type services like Siri, we've got search things like Google, and chatbots, which are ridiculously out of control and hyped right now. So, if you look at AI and chatbots specifically, they're saying it's going to change the customer experience significantly, save billions of dollars for the enterprise, and really change their experience interacting with companies. But we can jump to the next slide. But of course, today what we're seeing is a lot of hype and definitely not a lot of substance in the chatbot version of AI today. These are good for simple interactions where the options are limited. And I can order pizza, I can order a taxi, I can make an appointment. That Nextday.ai thing is kind of cool actually, but these are very simple use cases. These are a handful of variables I got to deal with. There's 30 different toppings on my pizza and five or six different sizes. It's simple stuff. These aren't complex. It's not really complex AI yet. There's kind of a massive gap between the hype we're hearing about this particular category of AI and what we're seeing in the marketplace. It's hard to get excited about these things. And the key here, why we're talking about these is it only takes a couple hours or a couple of days, at most a couple of weeks to set yourself up a chatbot. And you kind of get what you pay for. If you invest a couple hundred hours into your chatbot and training it, you're going to get a fairly simple solution. It's not going to change the world. And it's not going to drive a ton of value for a massive enterprise. So if millions of companies are really going to adopt AI over the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to have to do a lot more than we're seeing today. We jump to the next slide. So what is real value to an enterprise? If an enterprise was going to adopt AI, what would it actually do? And I'm talking about the customer support portion here of the AI industry. There's lots of analytics and robotics and that sort of different things. But if you look at the customer support side of AI, you've got to answer thousands of unique questions, many thousands of unique questions that your customers are going to ask this enterprise customer. And to really do that well, it requires a lot of training. Something a lot of people aren't talking about, but to make an AI really work, it requires a lot of intensive training. But companies really aren't experts in training in AI today. It's like marketing automation 10 years ago. You throw all these great marketing automation tools at somebody, 10 years ago, and the marketing department said, what do I do with this stuff? It's the same if you drop an AI on an organization today. There's no user manual for this stuff. You can't just drop it in and say, okay, this thing's just going to start working and producing great results for my customers. You can't just sort of jump into this thing. So for AI training, or AI to be effective, you need to train it with the right team, the right tools, the right experience. It's much more complex, I think, than people are talking about today. We're not getting into a ton of discussion. So, one of the questions is, why is nobody talking about this? We're hearing a ton of research. Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Facebook. Everybody's talking about hardcore AI, neural nets, and all this stuff. It's cool, it's exciting, but it's not the practical reality of AI today, which requires a lot of training. And that's just sort of where we are. Jump to the next slide. So obviously, this big lead up is leading the company that I've got. Created a company. I'm the co-founder, and we've got a product we call Wisdom. And it's an AI that we've built over the last 4 years, and we've developed both the AI and the turnkey solution, basically the turnkey service to operate the thing on behalf of our customers. So we partner with companies like IBM, and we're integrating the best of breed AI components as they mature. There's a lot of hype in the marketplace. A lot of this stuff isn't really ready for prime time. But the stuff that is, we've pulled it together, we've built a great AI solution, along with the service we're actually operating. And we've been training a number of live AI systems in production with millions of customers using them for over a year now. About a year and a half we've been training these systems. And it's a lot of work, but it gets you to the point where these things are actually super effective. So our team continuously analyzes the customer behavior, what exactly is going on, who's using these AI, what kind of questions we're getting, and our team has become an expert in operating and training the AI. Now, let me give you an example. So it's easy to talk about AIs and all these wonderful things, but it's regular everyday stuff. Some of our customers are in the telecom industry. And in the telecom industry, we get questions every day, many thousands of questions coming into the system. And customers ask things like, I can't watch Game of Thrones. So, that's all you get. You don't get a lot of information from the customers. It's just, I can't watch Game of Thrones. And there's two parts to AI. The first part is understanding what does the customer actually mean. And, we've come a long way now that, it used to be the old keyword search days were pretty useless. But now we understand can't watch Game of Thrones. There's a piece of content some customers struggling to get access to. So the NLU, natural language understanding, gets us over that first hurdle. But the second hurdle is even bigger than the first. What is the right answer for this customer? So we understand what the customer's problem is, but there's a lot of different answers to that question. One answer to that question is, you're in a family account and you're a sub-user, your parents decided this isn't the right content for you, you shouldn't be watching this stuff. And the answer is, go see your parents because they turned on parental controls and you need to, ask them if you watch this stuff. They probably shouldn't. And that's one answer. Another answer is, obviously you didn't subscribe, so you need to pay for this content. It's going to cost you $5 or $10. Click here and you can buy this. Another answer we get, more technical side, is stuff like, your wireless router is set to the wrong channel, we're seeing some interference, and, click here and we can make that change and solve that problem. But there are many, many answers for the exact same questions. And unless you've trained a system and really analyze your customer behavior, you're not going to get the right answer, you're not going to satisfy the customer. So, and then there are two ways to measure. The key to delivering value to an enterprise is measuring the effects of your AI. There's two really key components to that. One is the diversion. Delivering answers from an AI, that's not hard to do. Anybody can deliver answers. But actually diverting a real contact. The customer had a question, had an intent to contact you, and then you avoided that. And for that reason, you've got to measure these customers and monitor them for the next 7 days. Make sure they don't actually escalate to a live body. The second is NPS. You've got to actually measure the NPS, ask the NPS questions, a standard, it's sort of a standardized metric, and you can see if you actually sort of nailed and increase that NPS score. So those are the two ways to really show value to an enterprise. And of course, our metrics are, we think, the best in the world today. We're diverting a massive amount of contacts from our customers, and we've got a massive, a really big NPS boost. So on the last slide, just to wrap up. So we like to say, an AI is like a baby. They're super intelligent, but they don't know anything at all. You've got to train them to communicate in multiple languages, what to say, how to say it, when to say it, to be polite, and when not to answer. A lot of times an AI should not give an answer to a customer question. You should escalate to a human. It's it's a better answer. So while a ton of companies are focused on making babies, which sounds like a great idea, producing AIs, we're focused on building the schools that actually are teaching these things and making it effective. So that's it for me. Thank you.